Hi everyone, late in the day. Really nice to be with you. It's a bit funny. At the end of the day, I'm a country boy, and where do I feel most comfortable? On my veranda. So I thought that maybe tonight I'd speak to you from my veranda. If not, in real time, in the best way I can. Now, normally if I was speaking to you from my veranda at this time of night, I'd be sharing a glass of wine with you. Now, when I was growing up, my mother used to always say to me, "Know your place." And it was a behavioural thing. What it meant was have good manners, have respect, listen before you speak. Remember you're a part of a community, a whole community. You can't choose the bits of the community you're a part of in the country. You're part of the whole community. I played every sport that you could imagine when I was a kid, terrible at all of them. Terrible at all of them. But I played because if I didn't play, there wasn't a team. And we probably prepared the field the day before because nobody else was going to. So we learnt to take action ourselves. We learnt that in order to succeed, we needed to be part of a community, the whole community. So as much as my mother was talking about behaviour, I want to talk about my place from a geographical perspective. And of course, it's not my place. I've been there for 5 generations, but there have been thousands of generations before me. And when I began to speak to the Darringard's elders about the fact that I wanted to talk about circularity, they smiled at me like the idiot I am. And they said, "The principles of circularity have been practiced by our peoples for years, but your instincts are right. Your instincts are right. And the fact that you want to talk about circularity in the Bega Valley is also right. The fact that you want to talk about community, because after all, you're in Bega, a place of ceremony, the home of the Boonaan rings that for thousands of years, neighbouring tribes gathered together for corroboree and to discuss problems and come up with solutions. They can only be seen from there in the Bega Valley, but the Boonaan rings are still observable today and they're thousands of years old. A gathering place, a place to solve problems. And what a place it is. What a place it is. The beautiful Bega Valley, as we were inclined to say, surrounded on 3 sides by mountains and by the other side the sea. Beautiful forests and national parks with a forestry industry. And of course, as we move out of the mountains, we move into agricultural practice, large animals, small animals, orchardists. We've even got truffle growers, we've got hops growers. Our local gin distilleries grow their own botanicals in the valley. And as we move through the valley, we come to the beautiful estuaries. And we come to the estuaries and then out to sea to the fishing industry. What a wonderful, diverse valley. What might you think of when you're sitting on that veranda thinking about that valley? You might say you haven't got a worry in the world. You might say, like Einstein, imagination will take you everywhere. And when you talk about community, you should think about a global community. You've had lots of statistics today, so I'm not going to repeat too many. I might just say one because it's sort of so profound. If we continue in a linear economy, if we continue doing today what we've done for the last generations, we'll need 60% more resource in the next 30 years than we've got today. And we're already, you might have noticed, a little bit short of resource. So we have to change. We have to change the way we think. We have to change from a linear economy where we take, make, dispose to a circular economy where we ideally create product from renewable resource. But if not from a renewable resource, we create a product thinking about the end at the beginning. because we've quite often not thought about anything. We've thought about taking a resource, creating what we wanted, and not worrying about how we dispose of it. A circular economy says, think about the end at the beginning. If you are going to use a resource that's not renewable, how long can you keep it in the economy? How long can you recycle it, reuse it, repurpose it? And what sort of resource might that be? How can you think about minimising your impact, but maximising the benefit to community? And when I say community, I mean outcomes that are environmental, social, and economic. We have to get it all right. So how do you do that? How do you do that if you actually, what you were saying is that my ambition is to change the way people think? My ambition is to actually start thinking about how we work together in a different way. That's Ruby. Ruby's my son's dog. Ruby's useless. But she's friendly. So everybody likes her. So what do you really want to do? You want to make sure that if you want to change the way a community thinks, that you better talk to everybody, because you don't get to choose who you talk to. You need to talk to everybody. And you might wonder about what you would say to them, because there's been plenty of consultants out there and plenty of government people that have been out there going, we've consulted with the community. So indeed, it is my community. I know lots of people. People I know in the community know lots of people. So can we talk to all of them? And can we ask them 3 questions? 3 simple questions. Tell me what you do. Tell me what you dream of. Tell me what's stopping you realise your dreams. They're not consultant questions, but they're great information gathering questions. Now, when you consult, not everybody might be pleased to see you. Some people might be suspicious of your motivations. So you might want to ask another question. What do you fear? Because if you spend enough time asking people what they dream of, asking people what they fear, and then saying, well, how can we help manage both those things, you might actually affect change. Now, when you're trying to affect change, you need help. So when we decided we would try and turn the Bega Valley into the most circular valley in the world, we thought we might need help from people outside the valley. So we asked lots of people. We asked Rabobank, who sat beside us from the very beginning, whether they would join in putting effort into one area. But we asked universities, energy companies, communication companies, packaging companies. We asked all of them to give us their knowledge, give us their resource, so we could focus on turning the Bega Valley into the most circular valley in the world. A bold, bold ambition, moving away from a linear economy. Why would we do it in that valley I described to you? Because we can measure everything, because we're enclosed by mountains and the sea, because we have 2 roads in and out, 1 port, 1 airport. We can measure everything. Why do we want to measure everything? Quite frankly, because we want to prove that we're right. We want to prove... We want to get a baseline that says this was our social circumstances, this was our economic circumstances, this was our environmental circumstances, and we improve them by going circular. We want to use wonderful, silly corporate terms like enterprise stacking, like industrial symbiosis. But what we really mean is that we're going to work with our community, the businesses and people of our community, to create something special. We're going to... there's a few pictures there, and unfortunately time prevents me from giving you all this information, but we can look at a fertiliser company that use waste forestry product, waste fisheries product, sea urchins, council organic waste, to produce the best fertiliser, the best natural fertiliser you have ever seen. Our oyster growers who are so careful around their environmental impact now share their oysters with our local gin distilling company, so you can buy oyster gin. Not everything about sustainability is boring. Let me tell you, oyster shell gin's not boring. It's great fun. But we can also talk about our chicken farmers who grew an enterprise at first by borrowing other people's land. So the idea that this resource is mine and I'm the only one that can use it, that's what enterprise stacking is. No. Can we use this resource in multiple ways? There are so many projects, so many efforts going on in the Bega Valley, 28 different work streams, lots and lots and lots of individual projects, starting to slowly but surely change the way people think, but also bring a community together. What more could you want than to do those two things? Bring divergent thought together to change the way a community thinks. So, ladies... So, ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to my veranda at this time of day for a glass of wine. But I hope that in about a year's time, I'll be speaking to you from the National Centre for Circularity, a national centre that is being built in Bega. So for once, not in a capital city. And that centre will be a beacon to the world and it'll showcase every one of those projects. It'll showcase how you transform a valley. Why is that so important? Because it's not about transforming a valley. It's about leading the way so others will follow. It's about sharing all that information with the neighbouring regions, with the state, with the country, with the world. The National Centre for Circularity will be that showcase. It will showcase all those projects, but it'll also showcase how you can build in a more circular way, in a more reasonable way. One of the most wasteful things we can do is the way we build today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've gone over time, and it is late in the day, and I have got to get back to the farm because there's a lot of work to do. So, thank you very much.